The man accused of killing UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson more than a year ago was back in a New York courtroom today. Luigi Mangione's lawyers asked a federal judge to drop 2 of his 4 federal charges. The first is a murder charge that carries the death penalty, and the other a firearms offense. Let's go live to CBS News legal reporter Katrina Kaufman. Katrina, what did you learn from today's hearing today?
Hi, great to join you. So Mangione was back in court. He was wearing a tan jumpsuit today, so very striking difference from the suits that we saw him in during his recent suppression hearings. But the main issues today were, as you were just talking about, the defense wants to block the Justice Department from being able to pursue the death penalty. There was a lot of talk about the stalking charge against Mangione, which is linked to that, and whether that really has the requisite intent requirement that would obligate the court to include that death penalty here. They are trying to get 2 of the counts against Mangione dismissed. There was also talk of an evidentiary hearing. This is very similar to the issues that came up in his state case that we just had a hearing that went on for about 3 weeks related to the contents of his backpack. And in the state hearing, also statements that were going to be submitted at trial. In this case, what the defense is saying is they're not worried about the statements. The federal government only plans to enter that he called himself Mark and Mark Rosario, so he misidentified himself when the police first spoke with him, but they do care about the contents of that backpack. Now, what the judge said in court today is that she doesn't seem to think there is a need for that evidentiary hearing. She's still going to reflect on it, but what she said is that the backpack was clearly Mangione's personal property and that the police had to safeguard his personal property when they took that backpack. But the contents of it are going to be crucial. There is a journal, there is a weapon that was found. The defense really wants all of this precluded from the upcoming trial.
And Katrina, the judge also laid out some tentative dates for Mangione's federal trial. Can you talk about that for a minute?
That's right. So this is tentative, nothing firm, but what they discussed was potentially having jury selection in September, probably around September 8th. And then the trial date would change depending on whether or not this is a capital case, if the death penalty is kept on the table. If it's not, we could see this trial potentially happen in the fall, maybe around October, December. If it is a capital case, it sounds like it would start at the earliest in January. The defense also pointed out they have some experts they want to use who won't be available until that time, and they'll also want more time to prepare for that type of case. But in the meantime, we're going to have another hearing that's going to be on January 30th, and they will be discussing next steps.
Katrina Kaufman, thank you so much.